Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out Politics in the Animal Kingdom, Single Transferable Vote by CGP Grey. I'll be honest, I have absolutely no idea what this could be about. I mean, politics in the Animal Kingdom, what? But let's check it out.
Queen Lion is looking to make the elections in her animal kingdom more fair. Currently, she divides her citizens into ranges, each of which selects one representative to go to the Jungle Council, which makes laws for the kingdom. But her citizens are
Is this supposed to be like a video explaining how politics works, but using animals as an example? Okay.
unhappy, and it's easy to see why. The council is full of monkeys. Of course, some of her citizens are monkeys, but not all of them. This council doesn't fairly represent her kingdom. Queen Lion visits one of the ranges to find out what's wrong and how to fix it. In this range, there are 5 monkeys, 4 tigers, 3 owls, 2 lynx, and 1 buffalo. One of each runs for representative, and all citizens vote for their own species. The election rule is that the candidate with the most votes wins, which is the monkey, but it's a pretty unsatisfying result considering that 2/3 of the citizens in this range aren't monkeys and wouldn't vote for monkeys. This is the same across all the ranges of the kingdom. The monkeys always happen to have more votes than anybody
just have
else,
the most.
so they win all the elections, even though they're a minority of the total population. Closer inspection reveals that the independent
Okay, so this is definitely talking about real elections for us humans, but it's just using animals as an example. I believe this is called gerrymandering, where the territories where you vote are drawn in a way where it favors a certain party or representative, you know, that type of stuff. So basically how each zone has a majority of monkeys, therefore in each one a monkey is chosen.
Feels that the independent advisors hired to draw the range boundaries in the first place weren't as independent as they might have appeared. The
They were
result
monkeys
is
in
unhappy
disguise.
citizens who don't trust the Jungle Council to make the fairest laws for all, quite rightly. Now, Queen Lion wants to maximize the number of citizens happy with the election results. One way to do that is to abolish the ranges and use a proportional system, but her citizens want local representatives. So Queen Lion needs a system that both makes her citizens happier by having a more representative council while keeping the local elections in place. After doing a little research, she finds out how. Single transferable vote. The big change with STV is that ranges send more than one representative, which may seem weird, but Queen Lion decides to test it out. She takes 3 ranges, which used to each send 1 representative, and combines them into one bigger range that will send 3. On election day, citizens go to the polls, and the results in this new range are just the same as they were in the old ranges. So nothing seems better, but with STV
there is still a majority of monkeys, so nothing's gonna change.
Figure out the winners, take the total votes and divide them by the number of representatives needed, in this case 3, which gives 33% as the amount a candidate needs to win. So all 3 candidates go to the council, which accurately represents the citizens in the range. Whereas under the old system, each individual range would have sent a monkey, leaving 2/3 of the citizens without representation. A bigger range with multiple winners allows the results to be more proportional. This test turned out well, but it was also as simple as could be. Now Queen Lion wants to see what happens in a race where not everybody is a winner. The next big range she tests has 5 candidates running for office: gorilla, tarsier, monkey, tiger, and lynx, 3 of which can be representatives. Election day comes and goes, and here are the results of the
Well, I mean, once again, it's just going to be the 3 that have the highest population in the range.
citizens' first choices. Tarsier gets 5%, gorilla gets 28%, monkey gets 33%, tiger gets 21%, and lynx gets 13%. As before, a candidate needs 33% to win.
Oh, wait, what?
Monkey has that and so is immediately selected as one of the 3 representatives. But no one else reached the winning 33%, so how are the other 2 representatives selected? Step 1, get
Vote
rid of
again?
the biggest loser. Sorry, Tarsier, you really had no chance at all. When the citizens voted, they could have just put an X next to the candidate they liked best, but with STV, they can also rank their favorite candidates. This is important because it shows how the election would have turned out if one of the candidates hadn't run. Tiny and worried Tarsiers would have voted for the big, calm gorilla without Tarsier in the race. So if their candidate can't win, they want their votes to go to the gorilla instead.
So
this pushes
he's now
gorilla
at 33.
up to 33%, and he becomes the next representative. Ranking allows citizens to support their favorite candidate without worrying. There's no point in strategizing about how everyone else is going to vote. The system works to maximize votes.
I guess this is easier and faster than just simply holding another vote with all the 4 remaining candidates, in which the monkeys, the ones who won, would have had to choose between one of the other 4. Although, yeah, that would have been another problem, because that way the monkeys could have just chosen the representative, which is most likely to have a similar agenda to them. So yeah, no, this is honestly better.
Voter happiness with the result. Now back to the range. There's still one representative to select, so the next biggest loser is Lynx. His voters don't like.
Although, no, actually, no, now that I think about it, that's still the same. It doesn't change at all. Although, no, wait a minute, I'm an idiot. No, the monkeys are already out. Their votes no longer matter, right? Because they've won, so only the other ones are taken into consideration.
Like simians, but they do think Tiger's interests are similar to theirs, and so if Lynx can't win, they want Tiger to get their votes. He reaches 33% and becomes the 3rd and final representative.
But what happens if, for example, instead of voting for the tiger, the lynxes voted for the monkeys? Then the tiger doesn't reach 33%, meanwhile the monkeys get 46. So still, you only have 2. Do you just choose another monkey then, or what?
The election results look pretty good, especially considering the citizens' first and second choices. Now, more citizens also have a local representative they can feel comfortable approaching, whereas using the old system, everybody gets a monkey. Lastly, Queen Lion wants to know what happens in a range with just 2 political parties. Under the most votes wins system, multiple candidates from the same party would be a disaster. They'd split their voters and hand the win to their opposition. Queen Lion makes one last test range with 2/3 tigers and 1/3 gorillas. That, as before, needs 3 representatives. Because citizens rank their candidates under STV, there can be more than one candidate from the same party running at the same time.
2 tigers and 1 gorilla.
The tigers run 2 candidates, as do the gorillas. On election day, White Tiger gets a massive amount of first choice votes, probably because he's so cool. Meanwhile, the gorillas are split between their new guy and the old silverback. White Tiger is selected as the first representative, but what happens next? While Tiger is the biggest loser and it seems like he should be eliminated, it's also obvious that he would have gotten way more votes if White Tiger wasn't in the race. If a candidate has more votes than they need, like White Tiger does, the first step is to give the extra votes to their second choice. This gets Tiger to 33% and he becomes the next representative. If that seems strange, there are 2 things to consider. If instead the extra votes were ignored and Tiger eliminated, then the gorillas would get the remaining 2 wins, which would obviously not be representing the range very well. And ignoring extra votes punishes citizens who back popular candidates, which gets us back to the problem where voters start thinking about how everyone else will vote rather than what they really want. If a candidate is able to get more votes than they really need, then it also means those who support him are a big section of the population, and thus fairly should get more representation.
Yeah, that's fair.
After the extra votes go to Tiger, the election finishes as before. Silverback came in last, is eliminated, and his voters' second choice is the younger candidate, so Gorilla gets in. And the results look fair. Queen Lion has seen STV work. Whether a range has 1 party or lots of parties, the process is still always the same. First, citizens rank their favorite candidates. Second, any candidate above the threshold wins immediately. Extra votes then go to their next choice. If there's no winner, the last place is eliminated and the votes go to their next choice. Repeat until all the winners are found. This whole process is designed to maximize the number of citizens who are happy with the result. And it gives STV many advantages over the old most votes win system. Citizens can honestly vote for their favorite candidate without worrying about what everyone else is going to do.
I mean,
it's more proportional,
it is
so
a
monkeying with
good
the borders
system,
matters less,
but there are obviously still some problems with it.
Local representative they actually voted for. In the end, Queen Lion decides to switch the council's elections to single transferable vote to make a better jungle council for all.
I mean, that is a good system. Obviously, it still has its own problems, but no system is perfect. The biggest problem is the council which is currently in power, because they're gonna decide if this system is gonna come into place or not. And since the monkeys are in power and they benefit from the current system and not this single transferable vote one, they're not gonna let it pass, because they would lose because of this system. They wouldn't benefit from it. It's just not gonna happen. Unless you can somehow force them to implement it. But I highly doubt that's gonna happen because, you know, the monkeys have the jungle's best interest at heart. This whole video, it's just propaganda from all the other animals. Remember, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. That's what the monkeys told us, and they know what they're doing. I wonder if anybody watching this video has actually read George Orwell's 1984. You should. It's a good read. And yeah, I don't think there's really much more to say. The jungle council is run entirely by monkeys, and it's going to stay that way. So just like real life, nothing different. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions, check out this video right here. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.